The last thing we're going to discuss in this lesson is how changing the sample size and changing the confidence level affects the width of the confidence interval. Here we have the formula that we use to construct a confidence interval. Notice this is x bar minus e, comma x bar plus e. Okay. That is how we constructed the confidence interval earlier. Now here's the question. What if we increase the sample size n? How is that going to affect the width of the confidence interval? That is, what if we make n bigger? What would happen if we increase the value of n, right? If we increase the value of n, then the square root of n is going to be a bigger value. What would happen if you divide by a bigger value? Let's go ahead and write it here. We're going to write our thinking process. If n increases, then we are dividing by a bigger value. If we're dividing by a bigger value, then our error is going to become smaller. So let's write that here. The margin of error is going to become smaller. And so if the value you're adding and subtracting to x bar is smaller, what's going to happen to the width of your confidence interval? The width of the confidence interval is going to be smaller. So again, if you increase the sample size, then the margin of error value is going to be smaller, and that is going to make the width of the confidence interval smaller. And think about it, if the confidence interval has a smaller width, then our estimation is going to be more precise. We're going to have a smaller range of values that are going to capture the mean, which is going to give us a more precise idea of what mu is. So having a smaller width for the confidence interval is good, as long as you have a high confidence level, right? You want to be confident that you did capture the population mean within your confidence interval. Okay? Now, what if you raise the confidence level? What if you make the confidence level bigger? What is that going to do? Let me erase here. Think about it. The confidence level is going to decide the value of alpha. So let's go ahead and picture that. You have the area in the middle corresponding to the confidence level. That's going to help you decide how far your t-score is from the center. Your t-score corresponding to alpha divided by 2. If you make the confidence level bigger, then you're going to capture more area here at the center. That is going to make your t-score go more towards the left of the center. So that's going to make your t-score bigger. Increasing the confidence level is going to give you a t-score that is farther away from the center. So that t-score is going to be bigger. Let's write that here. A bigger confidence level is going to give us a bigger t-score. With that being said, we can come back to our formula and we can picture that. If we have a bigger t-score, what's going to happen to the margin of error? If we multiply by a bigger value, the margin of error is going to become bigger, right? Multiplying by a bigger value gives you a bigger value. So let's capture that thought here. The margin of error is going to become bigger. If the margin of error is bigger, if you're subtracting and adding a bigger value to x bar, what's going to happen to the width of the confidence interval? Well, the width of the confidence interval is going to get bigger. And this does make sense. Think about it. A bigger confidence level would require you to have a bigger range of values. If you use a bigger range of values to estimate the population mean, then you're going to be a little bit more confident that you did capture the population mean. You might want to write a few more notes to yourself about how changing the sample size and the confidence level is going to affect the width of the confidence interval. For example, would you be able to answer the question, how does decreasing the sample size affect the width of the confidence interval? What if I go from using a 99% confidence level to a 90% confidence level? Is the width of the interval going to get smaller or larger, right? These are the type of questions that you can ask yourself to determine if your understanding had the sample size and the confidence level affect the width of the confidence interval, okay? Again, you always want to be checking your understanding. We are at the end of our lesson. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select 2 examples from your WOMAP homework where you're being asked to construct a confidence interval for a mean. I'm going to take those 2 examples and I'm going to write detailed solutions to show you how to construct a confidence interval. Those 2 solutions are going to give you more practice on how to construct confidence intervals.